now things are going to start flowing towards the order and shape that you wanted to pivot with, because Mars, ruler of fifth, is moving three places away. Hard work is going to pay off. First and foremost, you are going to see the possibility of some kind of luxurious uh, purchase, either from an asset perspective, or you would want to bring in something new within your house. Do not see it from an expense perspective. See it as an investment towards your own mental peace. Hi guys, welcome back to Devastrology. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the transitory movement of the planets, and we will understand that what does the month of February hold for us in terms of our relationships, finances, career, business prospects, your overall health and prosperity. So before we go to understand that what is going to be the impact of these planets, let's try and quickly look into the important dates which are going to define the movement of these planets into different signs and houses for you. Now, as you guys can see on the screen here, Sun is going to be in the sign of Capricorn until 10th of Feb, and from 11th, 12th of February, it will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. It will be in conjunction with Mercury, which is also sticking in this of Capricorn as of now, and will be moving into Aquarius on Jan 11th. However, Mercury will be making additional movement, and it will be getting conjunct with Rahu and Venus in the sign of Pisces from 27th of February. Important thing to note is that Venus is already in its sign of exaltation, and it has been in the sign of Pisces since Jan 27th, and it is going to be there for a duration of 110 days in this conjunction. It have very key impacts for all of us. Important thing to understand also is that this Venus is actually forming a Parivartan Yoga, an exchange with itself with Jupiter, because Venus sits in Pisces whilst Jupiter is placed in the sign of Taurus. Yes, it has been in retrograde motion, but Jupiter is going to become direct from February 4th. And in this progressive movement, you are going to see some transformative impact coming into your life. Movements will start happening in multiple areas of your life as we discuss further. Now, Mars is also sitting in its retrograde motion, and it has entered the sign of Gemini already, as I had mentioned in my January readings. And you will find that Mars will also become direct or progressive from February 24th onwards. So both of your retrograde planets, which is Jupiter and Mars, they will become direct and progressive in the month of February itself. So it's an important event that's going to come into play. Saturn continues in the sign of Aquarius in Purv Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is ruled by Jupiter itself. And you have Rahu, which is in the sign of Pisces at this point in time. It is in conjunction with Venus in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, ruled by Saturn. And Ketu is in the sign of Virgo. It is in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, which is again ruled by Sun. So these are some of the important dates that are going to come into play for the month of February. So Sajis, as you guys can see on your screen here, you have your Lagna Lord, which is coming out of its retrograde motion, and it is going to be continued placed in the sixth house itself. The interesting part is that it is coming in a Parivartan exchange yoga with Venus, which is going to be in your fourth house in its state of exaltation along with Rahu. Bang opposite to them is sitting Ketu in the retrograde motion. Whilst Mars has finally come back into your seventh house, it continues in the retrograde motion right now in the sign of Gemini, but it will be becoming direct later in this month itself. And Sun and Mercury happen to be in your second house. They will transit into third, where they will get conjunct with Saturn, but Mercury will continue with its motion, and it will be forming a conjunction in the fourth house itself later in the month for you. Now, this brings some very interesting connotations into play for you guys, Sagittarius. Because first and foremost, we have to understand that Sun, which happens to be the Lord of your ninth house, it is the house of your destiny, your fortune, your good luck, also represents your superiors, bosses, your fatherly figure, is coming into your second house. It's a good Dhan Yoga in place, and it has been in place for the second half of January, and it will continue in that position along with Mercury for the first 10 days, 11 days, so to speak. Now, this is in conjunction with your seventh Lord and your 10th Lord. Your work profession is going to see some continued rigor, continued success coming in your way, folks. The best part of this combination is that fortune is going to align at your workplace. Your superiors, your bosses might bring you some kind of a favor. It may be also possible that some of you could see promotions, job change, uptick coming in that area as well. Mind you, Jupiter is also sitting in the sixth house. So he is also promising this with his aspect to your 10th house, your 12th house, and your second house. Thereby, savings, increase in wealth, increase in prosperity, abundance is definitely abound for you during the first 10, 12 days. Now, the other significance that also comes into play is that this conjunction of Sun with Mercury is with your seventh Lord. Thereby, some sort of financial support uptick could also come in place because of your spouse. Your partner could help you expand on your savings, expand on your wealth. They could also be helping you with respect to any kind of auspicious activity, some kind of good um, event, some kind of good action you guys might take together during the first half of the month itself. Both of these planets will move together into the third house and become conjunct in your third house with Saturn. Saturn rules your second house, is placed into your third, and it is giving a debilitated aspect to your fifth house. Yes, there could be certain challenges that you might expect in terms of additional hard work coming in your way. You might have to slog in longer hours. You might have to put in more effort in the second half of the month from 12th of February onwards. But I think you will not shy away from it. Could be additional set of responsibilities coming in your way from your, or it could also mean that this might be a time where you might plan a family trip together, some sort of an outing in terms of a weekend getaway, getting away from the daily chores, in enjoying something together. I also see for many of you some sort of an interest developing in kind of a new hobby, picking up some new activities during this time just to relieve yourself with all the hard work that is coming your way. Because quite clearly, once Jupiter has become direct, it is going to bring in some actions with respect to work front. You will be involved into handling bunch of the obstacles, challenges coming your way. It might be that some of you might have also had health challenges during this period. You are fighting through that. Your spouse will continue to play a prominent role from that aspect as well. But I anticipate more of rigor into in day-to-day actions, which will be reflected from third house perspective too. From your siblings perspective, they might require some sort of support, help coming in your way, and you will have to play that role of being a fatherly figure, guiding them, mentoring them through the course of the month, because they will expect you to help them come out of some sort of challenges too. Now, if you see this Saturn, it continues to give an aspect to your ninth house as well as your Scorpio sign, which is the 12th house for you. So expenses will continue to occur, but this is also a prominent period where Jupiter is also going to add into your savings, add into your wealth. I will recommend you folks that if expenses are anticipated, then redirect them towards any kind of strategic investments. Donation and charity may be a better choice actually at this point in time. Thanks to Saturn's debilitated aspect to your fifth house, any kind of stock related investments, any kind of investments from a growth perspective have to be done cautiously, not with a speculative bent of mind, but strategic thought process, because that is what this Saturn is going to expect you to do. Now, you have to also understand the bit here that Venus, which is the lord of your gains, your 11th house and your 6th house, has come to fourth. It is coming 11 places away from 6th house. It's a clear indication that job, daily regimen, your efforts are going to bring in gains for you. Venus gets directional strength also in this placement. And both Rahu and Venus are going to bring that expansive bit expanding into your 10th house as well with their aspect. First and foremost, you are going to see the possibility of some kind of luxurious uh, purchase, either from an asset perspective, or you would want to bring in something new within your house. I do not necessarily see a new construction, but acquiring some decorative items, acquiring some assets that can be a part of your home, of your collection, is highly probable. This conjunction is going to be in place for you folks for the next 110 days from 27th of Jan. This has already coming into play by the time you start watching this video. So you will see that your mind will be bent towards that. Number two, given that this Venus is the lord of your 11th house, yes, it is moving 6 places away, yet it forms a good dhan yoga for you in that from that angle. So there could be certain hiccups in terms of you fulfilling your desires. Your mind could be puzzled in terms of addressing those challenges. Venus, after all, is your sixth lord as well. But at the same time, you will have the tenacity, you will have the capacity to overcome those challenges and fulfill your desires as well, fulfill your objectives, your goals that you've set forth for yourself. This exchange of Jupiter and Venus is working in such a wonderful fashion that your mental peace, support from your family environment, your own knowledge will help you grow at your work front. It will help you grow, address the obstacles that you're facing. And whilst you will keep battling these challenges, you will be attaining your goals and desires as well. That's such a beautiful, yoga coming into play for you guys, Sagittarius. And I think you must try and capitalize to the fullest extent. You may have to spend in some, money or expenditures towards the health, mental health of yourself, which means that any kind of break in the terms of taking small getaways, small journeys is not at all a bad idea. Do not see it from an expense perspective. See it as an investment towards your own mental peace. Or there is also a possibility that your mother could face some challenge. Health and vitality will be good, but some sort of a need might come from your mother, which you might have to address and fulfill. Now, both of these planets are giving an aspect to your 10th house, along with Jupiter, which is also aspecting, and so is your retrograded Mars, which will become direct. So, your 10th house becomes highly important, no matter what kind of a persona you are, what kind of a life you're living. If you're a working person, business of your own, if you're a homemaker, student watching this video, in whatever sphere of life, karmas are going to be becoming paramount for the next few weeks. You will not have time to, take a breather and, step aside. But that is something you'll have to forcefully find yourself putting your effort towards, or else you could get overworked, you could get overstressed as well. Now, Ketu's presence, as I've always said before as well, Sagittarius, it only signifies that you have to focus towards the process, towards the journey that you are embarking upon, and not worry about the outcomes. And I think if you are able to do that, you will succeed. Do not worry about the kind of challenges your bosses might be throwing. They are not intending to test you here. They are actually expecting you to flourish and deliver the right outcomes for them. So take it as an opportunity coming in your way and deliver on that. If you are a student watching this video, things haven't been so great. You would have realized that probably some sort of a hiccup is coming in terms of you putting enough hours of time, effort, but the productivity, the efficiency with which you are operating, it hasn't been great. Even for people who are trying to pursue any kind of romantic relationships, things haven't been great from that perspective. But the fact that now that aspect of Saturn, though it continues to the fifth house itself, the fifth lord has come out of the eighth house and moved into the seventh house. This is a good movement for you folks. So what you are going to realize is your romantic pursuits are going to take some good fruition. You could materialize them into, uh, a formidable relationship. But I would still advise you to take this slow and wait through the month of February, and do not rush into anything. If you have any creative ideas that you want to transplant into your business initiatives, into your own self employment situation, then also please just take a step back in doing a reflection, a double check, consolidation as to are you moving in the right direction or not. Perhaps March will be a much better time, or the last week of February would be a much better time for you to materialize things from that aspect. However, from an education perspective, if you're looking forward to appear in any of the competitive examinations in the next few weeks, in the next couple of months to follow, as well as your preparation towards that roadmap, you are going to see some success. Now things are going to start flowing towards the order and shape that you wanted to pivot with, because Mars, ruler of fifth, is moving 3 places away. Hard work is going to pay off now. Mars also rules your 12th house and it has come into your seventh, which means that there could be some unexpected outcomes to your spouse or through your spouse. There is some unexpected, unanticipated challenge that might come their way. They will need your support. I would, though, drive one caution for you. Mars is sitting in the sign of Gemini. So it is going to be extremely important for you to ensure that you do not bring unnecessary argumentative situations in your relationship. Some bit of build-up frustration because of external factors like your work, professional education, etc., could bring that scenario into play. Perhaps your returns on the investments that you've made and you were expecting certain outcome might not come into play, but this doesn't mean that you exude your temper out to your partner itself. You will need their support and they are motivated to help you out, as well as I was talking about the other transits and the other planetary positions. So your partner is going to try their level best. You will have to be patient with them as well and ensure that you have a very seamless communication, non-aggressive communication also going on along with them. It may not be a bad idea for both of you to pursue some hobby together, because that is also going to deliver good bonding, good outcomes for you. Overall, I think Sagittarius, it's a good period. It is going to evolve week over week for you. From a health perspective, you might face certain challenges, especially with your mental stress, mental peace perspective, but fear not, you have the capability to overcome that. Jupiter is going to continually support on that front as well. From a work perspective, it's a pretty tough period for all the spheres of life. You are going to put in, leave no stone unturned, if I may. You are going to put your best foot forward in that direction, and it is going to bear the fruits. It's going to give the results that you've been anticipating. Things might come after a hiccup, but they are promised to come. I hope, guys, you've enjoyed this reading. If you have, then smash on that like button, subscribe to Devastrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya.